My esteemed sisters and brother judges of the Delhi High Court, Mr. Chetan Sharma, Additional Solicitor General of India, Mr. Murari Tiwari, Chairman Bar Council of Delhi, Mr. Mohit Mathur, President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Jatan Singh, Vice President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Abhijat, Secretary, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Santosh Kumar Tripathi, Standing Counsel Civil, Government of NCT of Delhi, Standing Councils of the Central and State Government, Executive Members of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, Office Bearers of Bar Council of Delhi and other district bar associations, Senior Advocates, Members of the Bar, family members of late Justice R.C.LAHOTI, ladies and gentlemen. It is with immense sense of sadness that we have today assembled to condole the demise of Mr. Justice R.C.LAHOTI, former Chief Justice of India and former Judge, High Court of Delhi. Justice R.C.LAHOTI was born on 1st November 1940 in district Guna, Madhya Pradesh. He did his BCom honours from R.A. Poddar College at Bombay and was awarded the LLB degree from Holkar College, Indore. For standing first class first, he was awarded the gold medal by the then Vice President of India, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. He joined the bar in his home district in 1960 and was enrolled as an advocate in 1962. In April 1977, Justice Lahoti was recruited directly from the bar to the State High Judicial Services and was appointed as a district and sessions judge. After serving as a district and sessions judge for a year, in May 1978, he tendered his resignation and reverted to the bar to pursue his practice, primarily in the High Court. On 3rd May 1988, Justice Lahoti was appointed as an additional judge of the Madhya Pradesh High Court and was made permanent on 4th of August 1989. Thereafter, he was transferred to this court on 7th of February 1994. During his tenure as a judge of this court, Justice Lahoti, by dint of his legal acumen and work ethics, earned great respect and regard not only from his colleagues on the bench, but also from the bar. He conducted the proceedings in his court while keeping the atmosphere light, and his wit and humor diffused the stresses and tensions in the courtroom. I had occasion to appear before him on several occasions and always found him in complete grip of the matter. He was very balanced and was equity-minded in his approach. Justice Lahoti was appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court of India on 9th of December 1998. On 1st June 2004, Justice Lahoti was appointed as the 35th Chief Justice of India. His Lordship demitted office of the Chief Justice of India on 31st October 2005. During his tenure in the Supreme Court, Justice Lahoti authored about 342 judgments. Justice Lahoti led the seven-judge bench that overturned the 1959 Supreme Court ruling, which laid down that the ban on slaughter of cows' progeny, old bulls and bullocks, was unconstitutional. By virtue of his knowledge, wisdom and ability, Justice Lahoti reached the highest position in the Indian judiciary, despite coming from a very humble and remote background. He also presided as an independent director on the Board of Directors of the Press Trust of India. On account of his competence and reputation, Justice Lahoti was appointed as an arbitrator by the Government of India in the rupee 20,000 crore high-profile tax dispute case with the telecom major Vodafone. Justice Lahoti has been a part of several international conferences and seminars related to law and justice. To enlist a few of them, he attended the Law Asia conference held in Tokyo, Japan in August-September 2003, which I too attended, the SARC Law Conference held in Karachi, Pakistan in February 2004, the Biennial Conference of International Law Association held in Berlin, Germany in August 2004, and Yale Law School seminars on global constitutionalism in the year 2000, 2003 and 2005. He was also a member of the 4th Indo-US Legal Forum, MEET, held in Washington and San Francisco in October 2002. He had participated in several other conferences around the globe. For his contribution towards the administration of justice and legal education, Justice Lahoti was widely acknowledged and conferred various honorariums. He was conferred the degree of Doctor of Law honoris causa in the august presence of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the then President of India, by the Rani Durgavati Vishwavidyalaya, Jabalpur, on 12th of October 2006. He was also presented with the National Day Law Award 2006 for his unique contribution in the field of administration of justice, for making it more friendly to the people at large by the then Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, on 26th of November 2006. In August 2007, Lok Jagran Tulsi Shodh Sansthan, Allahabad, decorated his lordship with Goswami Tulsidas Samarohan Samman. In March 2008, Vikram Vishwavidyalaya, Ujjain, conferred a degree of Doctor of Laws in the august presence of Dr. Balram Jakad, Governor of Madhya Pradesh, and Shri Naval Kishore Sharma, Governor of Gujarat. In July 2008, that is on Guru Purnima Divas, he was decorated with the Ram Kinkar Samman by Shri Ramayanam Trust, Shri Dham Ayodhya. He was also decorated with Swami Shri Akhandanand Saraswati Alankaran 2009 by Shri Rajiv Lochanam Trust, Jabalpur, for achieving ideals worth being emulated in the field of Sanskar Srijan, Sanskrit Poshan, Seva Samarpan. He was decorated with the national honor Shri Bhaveshwar Rashtanidhi Ratna by Shri Sadguru Swami Akhandanand Memorial Charitable Trust, Gujarat, for exceptional contribution made in the field of judicial reforms and upholding constitutional rights of citizens of India. Justice Lahoti was also an active Rotarian for about 21 years between 1973 and 1994, and was also a founder member of the Rotary Club of Guna. He was also appointed as the Chairman, Advisory Board of Sri Aurobindo Foundation for Integral Management, Pondicherry, in October 2011. Justice Lahoti was passionate about legal aid services and alternate dispute resolution. Justice Lahoti will always be remembered for upholding the rule of law as a fearless and independent judge. His Lordship's outstanding contributions to the judiciary of this country and emphasis on speedy justice to the underprivileged will always be admired. Justice Lahoti used to address me by my surname whenever we met. He would say, "Aur kaise ho Sangi?" His words of appreciation and encouragement meant a lot to me, enthused me, and served as a reassurance for the work I did. Justice Lahoti left for his heavenly abode on 23rd March 2022. He is survived by his wife, Srimati Kaushalya, a social worker, 3 daughters, Ms. Pankaj Soni, Dr. Archana Mantra, and Dr. Vandana Marda, 1 son, Mr. Ujjwal Lahoti, brother Justice K.K. Lahoti, sister-in-law Ms. Asha Lahoti, brother Mr. O.P. Lahoti, sister-in-law Ms. Shyama Lahoti, nephew Dr. Amit Lahoti, grandsons Advocate Divyank Lahoti and Advocate Kartik Lahoti. I, on behalf of my sister and brother judges, and on my own behalf, convey our heartfelt condolences to the members of the bereaved family and pray to the Almighty to give them strength to bear this irreparable loss. May Almighty bestow peace on the departed soul.
Honorable the Acting Chief Justice and Chief Justice Designate Justice Vipin Sanghi, Honorable Justice Siddharth Madhul, Honorable Justice Manmohan, Honorable Justice Rajiv Shukla, Honorable Justice Suresh Kumar Kaith, Honorable Justice Mukta Gupta, Honorable Justice Najmi Waziri, all the honorable and esteemed judges of this honorable court, Mr. Murari Tiwari, Chairman Bar Council of Delhi, Mr. Mohit Mathur, President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Jatan Singh, Vice President, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Secretary, Delhi High Court Bar Association, Office Bearers of the Association, Mr. Santosh Kumar Tripathi, Standing Counsel Civil, Mr. Sanjay Lau, Standing Counsel Criminal, all assembled senior advocates, interns, and of course, Mr. Amarjit Singh Chandiok, former Additional Solicitor General and Senior Advocate. We are gathered here in almost what has become a routine, regular manner of assembling here to condole one demise after another, which itself speaks about the times that we live in and the temporal aspect of life. Justice Lahoti was born on the 1st of November in 1940 in the district of Guna. He graduated from the Holkar College in Indore with a LLB, and in 1962 he enrolled as an advocate in his home district of Guna. He came from a lawyer's background. His father too was a lawyer. And the office that the family ran, or his father ran, used to have a takiya and a gaddi, that old classical mode where one has as in merchants or traders. Justice Lahoti changed all of that. He brought in the chair and he brought in tables. And even as a member of the bar there, he overhauled, as an advocate, he overhauled the entire library system. He had rules framed for the library so that advocates could take home books for 3 days, no more, perhaps with a penalty. This was his systematic approach. One could see him in court here also. He was outrightly systematic in his files, in his papers, in his demeanor, in his mannerism. He was systematically systematic. He then became the secretary of the Jivaji Library and also had the rules framed for the library there. As a trial court advocate, he conducted trials on both the sides, civil and criminal. And though he's acclaimed and remembered for being a classical civil judge with great knowledge of civil law, he was equally adept at criminal law, having conducted criminal trials all across the sections of 302, 306, 307, 395, 397, and 396. Not to mention that because he was in Madhya Pradesh, so therefore dacoities did take a large part of the litigation there. I'm also told that he was always on his legs from 11 to 6 minus a 20-minute period when he used to partake tea. This was his dedication as an advocate. In 1976, he became the district judge and he remained no more than a year there. He resigned and therefore joined the bar again, served as a lawyer for 10 years before being elevated on the 3rd of May, 1988 as a judge of the High Court. Justice Lahoti was not only systematic, but he was punctual to the dot. 5 seconds before the clock struck 10:30, Justice Lahoti would be in his seat. It so happened that the Chief Justice assigned him to a division bench, and the brother judge was known to be late by an hour. He would sit around 11:15, 11:30. Justice Lahoti went to his brother's house at 10 and persuaded his lordship to be punctual, and they both sat at 10:30 till the time that the division bench was there. What happened thereafter, I would not know. Justice Lahoti, as Justice Sanghi has said, was appointed as a one-man inquiry commission to investigate into the affairs and the claims of frustrated buyers of Skipper Construction Company. 800 claims were investigated, decided within a period of 12 months. On the 5th of November, Justice Lahoti was appointed a one-man court of inquiry to investigate the causes of the mid-air collusion between the Saudi Arabia 747 and the Kazakhstan IL-76, not far from here, which is in Cherkadadri. He submitted the inquiry report on 15th of July by accomplishing the task of magnitude and international significance within a record period of 8 months, and he was applauded for that by aviation experts as well. Such was his knowledge of avionics that in a private conversation he could engage you into the nitty-gritty, which even the avionics experts would commend themselves for. This was his dedication to detail. In his 7 years tenure in the Supreme Court, Justice Lahoti authored 342 judgments. He authored 66 of his judgments in a single year in the year 2002. He was a former independent director of the Board of Directors of the Press Trust of India and was appointed as an arbitrator by the Government of India in the rupees 30,000 crore tax dispute, which is famously or infamously called the Vodafone tax dispute. In the year 2006, the then Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, presented Justice Lahoti with the National Law Day Award for his unique contribution in the field of administration of justice, making it friendly to the people at large. Justice Lahoti was a very adept civil judge, as we all knew. But in one of the conferences at Vigyan Bhavan, I was having a chat with Mr. Chandyok pre-lunch. In the conference at Vigyan Bhavan, Justice Lahoti in the ADR conference openly said that though he is credited with being a very well-trained and a balanced judge on the civil side, his becoming so, the credit Justice Lahoti openly gave to the senior advocates and the advocates practicing on the civil side. Mr. Chandyok was one of them. Not only that, he openly praised the Delhi High Court for being one of the most prominent, if not the most prominent High Court, in which lady lawyers partook equal role and equal participation in conducting cases, as opposed to taking adjournments and passovers in the rest of the country. Here, Justice Lahoti was unequivocal about his praise of lady lawyers. So this was the speciality of the Delhi High Court, which Justice Lahoti did not hold back in a conference of the magnitude and type as was in Vigyan Bhavan. He was a very systematic, I've repeated that, and his knowledge of the Evidence Act, the Transfer of Property Act, the Civil Procedure Code, almost made one think that he would be a very technical person. But those of us who appeared before him while he conducted evidence used to see that it was far from a pedantic approach. He was very dynamic and could bend the rules without altering the fundamentals. And therefore, one of his celebrated judgments is how a mark is to be ascribed and how an exhibit is to be ascribed and what is the evidentiary effect of a mark and an exhibit. That is cited there. I had occasion to appear with Justice Sanghi's revered father in a matter pertaining to a paper mill in the Supreme Court, and we could see the exchange between Mr. G.L. Sanghi, the senior advocate in court number 3, and Justice Lahoti, and it went on for almost 2 hours. We could see the erudition, we could see the depth of knowledge which flowed in the thicket of civil law. It was a great learning experience for me. Justice Lahoti, in the passing of Justice Lahoti, we have really lost a very upright, dedicated, committed judge. I am told that even during his last days, whilst he was in the ICU, he still conducted arbitrations virtually on his ICU bed. Such was his dedication to the profession. He was a teetotaler vegetarian, so much so that he did not even have onion and garlic. He found good company with 1 or 2 other people during arbitration. But that is another part of the matter. My lords, in Justice Lahoti's passing away, we have lost a jurist of great eminence and a person of great systematic thought and impeccable integrity, who was self-effacing and still very humble in all which ways one sees an honorable judge. To his family members, I, on behalf of myself and on behalf of the panel of senior central government standing council, senior panel council, and the Union Leaders Council, condole the mortal passing away of Sri Ramesh Chand Lahoti. Om Shanti.
Honorable the Acting Chief Justice of the High Court of Delhi, Shri Vipin Sanghi ji, other honorable judges of the High Court of Delhi, Shri Chetan Sharma ji, learned Additional Solicitor General of India, Mr. Jatan Singh Abhijat, Vice President, Honorary Secretary of the Delhi High Court Bar Association and the other executive members, Mr. Murari Tiwari, Chairman of the Bar Council of Delhi, the other distinguished members of the Bar Council of Delhi, Mr. Santosh Tripathi and Mr. Sanjay Lau, Standing Counsels of the Government of NCT of Delhi, former office bearers of the Delhi High Court Bar Association, senior counsels and dear members of the bar, family and friends of late Justice Lahoti, ladies and gentlemen. We are gathered here today to pay our last tributes to a stalwart of this honorable bench and the legal fraternity itself, Justice R.C.LAHOTI ji, former Chief Justice of India and a former judge of this honorable court. While we mourn the passing of the dearly departed soul today and share solidarity with his family and friends, we are presented with an opportunity to remember his life and times and his contribution to the law and to our fraternity. As we were coming out of the third wave of COVID-19 and getting back to work in the physical mode, we were hit with the news of Justice R.C. Lahoti's passing away here in Delhi. He was undergoing treatment from a prolonged illness and breathed his last on 23rd of March 2022. I regret being unable to see him just one more time, as I believed that he was in a stable condition and I would have had the opportunity to see him at some function or the other. Alas, I am humbled at the unpredictability of life once again. Today, we pay homage to not just the head of this family of legal fraternity in India, its 35th Chief Justice of India. I can say without a doubt that Justice Lahoti's work and efforts had long-term impacts on the social and moral fiber of the nation. Let me now just say a few words about the man of few words. Justice Lahoti's vast experience of having practiced from the district courts to the High Court reflected in his judgments as well. He had the rare distinction of having served in the subordinate judiciary and then resigning from the office there, only to rise again as a High Court judge and then to attain the position of the Chief Justice of India. As many of us may recall, he came to this honorable court in February '94, and after staying here for about 4 years, he was appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court in 1998. My lords had penned numerous landmark judgments, as my preceding speakers have said. I can recall one of the moments in 1996 as a young lawyer when I appeared before him in his division bench and was trying to take an adjournment since my senior was not available. I had Justice Madan Lokur, as he then was as the standing counsel, Mr. Shanti Bhushan and Dr. Singhvi opposing us from the other side. And with my senior missing, my feet were actually jittery. He saw my predicament and told me, "Young man, you have drafted the petition, so I'm sure you are prepared with the facts of the case. Just start." I still hesitated. He understood and then again said, "If we need to pass an adverse order, we'll wait for your senior. Continue." That gave me some confidence, and I was able to carry on throughout the day, whether I made sense or not, but he still remembered the episode, even when he met me later. Justice Lahoti never really retired from work and was taking care of his arbitration duties, I'm told, till his very last. At the end of any day that I feel tired or tested, I think of such men who never made excuses for extinguishing the proverbial midnight lamp and kept marching on, even in the face of adversity. Looking back At doyens like Justice Lahoti, I can only say that the mortal body of a judge may one day no longer be with us, but what falls from the nib of their pen has the indomitable power to change the course of history, to inspire our generation and the newer generations in this fraternity, and to give us reminders and lessons in how to continue going forward, lest we falter from the path set for us by the founding fathers of this nation. I now take this opportunity to pray for more strength to the families and next of kin of late Justice R.C. Lahoti ji. Nothing can be said to make up for the void left by his absence. I also extend on my own behalf and on behalf of the Delhi High Court Bar Association our deepest condolences to his family members and friends present today. We will fondly cherish the memories we were able to gain with him. Om Shanti.
My Lord, Honorable Justice Bipin Sanghi, Chief Justice, Honorable Mr. Justice Siddharth Mridul, Honorable Mr. Justice Manmohan, and other Honorable Judges of this Honorable High Court, Mr. Chetan Sharma, Additional Solicitor General, Mr. Mohit Mathur, President, Jatan Singh, Vice President, Abhijat, Honorary Secretary, Mr. Dhan Mohan, and other office bearers of Delhi High Court Bar Associations, Mr. Santosh Tripathi, P.S. Shukla, and other standing councils of the state government and central government, Mr. Amarjit Singh Chandok, former ASG, Senior Advocate, Mr. J.P. Singh, Senior Advocate, Mr. N. Hariharan, Senior Advocate, fellow colleagues at Bar, family members of late Honorable Mr. Justice Ramesh Chandra Lahoti, former Chief Justice of India. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Honorable Mr. Justice R.C. Lahoti had risen from a very humble background and had reached the highest position of judiciary, that is the post of the Honorable Chief Justice of India. His life is a complete encyclopedia for all the law-aspiring students, and anyone who is in the field of law can draw inspiration from his life. As we all know that Justice R.C. Lahoti was appointed as 35th Chief Justice of India on 1st June 2004 and retired on 1st November 2005, completing a tenure of 1.5 years, leading the legal fraternity at the Honorable Chief Justice of India. Not emphasizing much about his birth and other credentials, which has already been brought to the notice of this august gathering by the previous Honorable Speakers, and more will be said by the upcoming Honorable Speakers, I would like to add that a person who was recruited directly to the bench from the bar and was even appointed as learned decision session judge, giving resignation to return to the bar to practice itself speaks volume about his capability, efficiency, and grit. I was fortunate enough to appear before him in various cases, as I was deeply touched and impressed by his calm attitude to hear the parties carefully and giving clear advices as and when required. It is said that a judge speaks through his judgments. They reflect his philosophy, approach, and thinking process. Though identified as a traditional, typically conservative and orthodox judge, Justice Lahoti was also famous for interpreting statutes or any provision thereof purposefully if the situation so demanded. He would mold relief so as to render complete justice. Justice Lahoti touched the lives of many people through his stellar contribution to the field of law and the administration of justice. After his superannuation in the year 2005, he was appointed as an arbitrator in various cases. He was one of the most sought-after arbitrators, as he was successful to convince the parties to settle their disputes amicably. He was the arbitrator appointed by the Government of India in the high-profile ₹20,000 crore tax dispute case with telecom major Vodafone. Furthermore, he was also an independent director on the board of directors of the Press Trust of India. Justice Lahoti was not only an avid reader himself, but used to encourage others to read. Gifting books to people containing messages on how to derive maximum benefits from them was something he relished. He was a champion of social causes and donated extensively, more often than not anonymously. He was always eager to learn and open to experiment, which allowed him to remain ahead of the curve. My condolences to Ms. R.C.LAHOTI, wife of Honorable Justice R.C.LAHOTI, who is present here, and other family members. I, on my behalf and on behalf of members of Bar Council of Delhi, express my profound condolence to the revered family members and pray to God that the departed soul may rest in peace. Om Shanti.
Honorable the Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, Justice Vipin Sanghi, Honorable Justice Siddharth Midhur, Honorable Justice Manmohan, Honorable Justice Rajiv Shakdar, Honorable Justice Suresh Kumar Kat, Honorable Justice Mukta Gupta, Honorable Justice Nazmi Vaziri, all the esteemed judges of the Honorable Delhi High Court, Mr. Chetan Sharma, Additional Solicitor General of Union of India, Mr. Murari Tiwari, Chairman Bar Council of Delhi, Mr. Mohit Mathur, President Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Jatan Singh, Vice President Delhi High Court Bar Association, Mr. Avijaz, Secretary Delhi High Court Bar Association, other office bearers of the association, Mr. Sanjay Law, Standing Counsel Criminal, Government of City of Delhi, all the ASCs, civil and criminal side of Government of City of Delhi, Mr. Chandyok, Senior Advocate, Mr. JP Singh, Senior Advocate, and other assembled senior advocates, respected member of the bar, family member and friends of late Justice R.C.LAHOTI. Today, we all have assembled here to condone the said demise of Justice Ramesh Chandra Lahoti, former Chief Justice of India, who breathed his last on March 23, 2022, at the age of 81 years. Justice Ramesh Chandra Lahoti served as the 35th Chief Justice of India. He was appointed as CJI on the 1st June 2004 and retired on October 31, 2005, after serving 17th month as a helm of judiciary. Justice Lahoti was born on 1st November 1940 in the district Guna of Madhya Pradesh. He graduated in law from Holkar College, Indore, and in 1962 he enrolled as an advocate in his home district. Justice Lahoti was recruited directly to the state higher judicial services in April 1977, where he was appointed as a sessions judge. After serving in the post for a year, Justice Lahoti resigned in May 1978 and returned to the bar to practice mainly in the High Court. On 3rd May 1988, Justice Lahoti was appointed as a judge to the Madhya Pradesh High Court and was transferred to the Delhi High Court in February 1994. On December 9, 1998, Justice Lahoti was appointed as Supreme Court judge. Later on 1st June 2004, Justice R.C.LAHOTI was appointed as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of India. Justice Lahoti retired on the 1st November 2005. In 1995, Justice Lahoti appointed as one-man inquiry commission to investigate into the claim of frustrated buyers of the flats from SSS Keepers Construction Company Limited. More than 800 claims were investigated into and decided within a period of 12 months. On 5th November 1996, Justice Lahoti was appointed one-man court of inquiry to investigate into the causes of mid-air collision between Saudi Arabia Boeing 747 and Kazakhstan IL-76S Taki Dadri near Delhi, and make a recommendation for avoiding such accidents in future. A report was submitted on 15th July 1997 by accomplishing the task of magnitude and international significance within a record period of 8 months. Both the commissions were conducted without suspending the judicial work in the High Court. During his nearly 7-year tenure in the Supreme Court, Justice Lahoti authored 342 judgments. He authored 66 of his judgments in the year 2002. Justice Lahoti was a former independent director of the Board of Directors of the Press Trust of India. He was appointed as an arbitrator by the Government of India in the 20,000 crore high-profile tax disputes case with telecom major Vodafone. In 2006, the then Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh, presented Justice Lahoti with the National Law Day Award for his unique contribution in the field of administration of justice, making it friendly to the people at large. Passing away of Justice R.C. Lahoti is a jolt to the entire legal fraternity. He will always be remembered as a fearless and independent. He will always be remembered for his contribution to the rule of law and his effort to enhance the dignity and majesty of the institution. In his distinguished career as a judge of the Supreme Court, Justice Lahoti gave many important judgments. Some of them are mentioned below. In Sarbanananda Sonewal vs. Union of India, Justice Lahoti presided over a three-judge bench. The Chief Minister of the Assam, Sarbanananda Sonewal, filed a petition asking for repeal of the Illegal Migrants Determination by Tribunal Act 1983. The Act placed the responsibility to prove an individual as an illegal migrant upon the police, as opposed to the individual having to furnish a proof of citizenship as provided in the Foreigners Act 1946. The court, in the judgment authored by Chief Justice Lahoti, repealed the Act because it was violative of Article 14 and 355 of the Constitution of India. It was held that the reversal of this burden of proof in cases under the IMDT Act acted as barrier to the detention of illegal migrants and was discriminatory against the people of Assam. In another landmark judgment, Justice Lahoti led the 7 judges bench overturned a 1959 apex court's ruling which laid down that the ban on the slaughters of the cows progeny old bulls and bullocks was unconstitutional. The verdict delivered day before his retirement upheld Gujarat's 1994 amendment that banned the slaughters of cow as well as this progeny, irrespective of its age. In P. Ramchandran Rao vs. State of Karnataka, Justice Lahoti held that the court can declare the law, they can interpret the law, they can remove obvious lacuna and fill the gaps, but they cannot entrench upon in the fill of legislation properly meant for legislature. In EMS Students Union versus EMS, it was held by Justice Lahoti that every citizen of India is fundamentally obliged to develop scientific temper and humanism. He is fundamentally duty-bound to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activities so that the nation constantly rises to the higher level of endeavors and achievements. A dedicated lawyer and jurist, Justice Lahoti was an entirely self-made man. Despite of being from a humble background, Justice Lahoti reached the highest position of the judiciary because of his ability, knowledge, hard work, and wisdom. A number of judgments reported in the various legal journals be a testimony to this and to his contribution of development of law. His relentless pursuit against abuse of the power will be hard to match, and he will always be remembered for it. Justice Lahoti rendered great services to the nation as one of the finest judges in the history of this country. Today, on behalf of Government of City of Delhi and my team representing the Government of City of Delhi before this Honorable High Court, and my own behalf, I would like to extend my deepest condolences to the family and friends of Justice R.C. Lahoti. May God bestow his blessings to the departed soul for his journey to the next world.
As a mark of respect to the departed soul, we shall now observe silence for 2 minutes. As a mark of respect to the departed soul, the working of the court is adjourned for the rest of the day.